I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to finally talk to you.
Yeah, it's an honor to meet the famous scribe of Where the Stars Brought Us.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think I've spoken to you since your audition.
God,
Yeah.
this feels like forever ago.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like, what, last summer? So, how about tell us your name and a little bit about yourself?
So, my name is Jaden Gibson. I am a third year college student. I was very excited to be able to be a part of this project. I thought it was a perfect kind of opportunity for me to be at the convergence of a lot of different passions of mine.
So, what inspired you to start voice acting?
I've always loved acting, period, from a young age. I was an eager performer in front of the camera and made a lot of home movies. And then I got inspired to kind of go into the theater world. So I did some theater productions, got a bit of stage training. And then as I got into high school, I did musicals. And so I got some of that musical theater vocal training. So I just thought this was kind of a natural evolution of all of those different things. I'm always happy at any kind of opportunity to turn a passion into a job.
Do you have any like embarrassing home videos, like YouTube videos that you posted that you wish you didn't?
None that were posted,
hmm
thankfully.
I feel like everybody has one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. I was good about not posting super embarrassing things. I have them to look back on now, but they're not out there for the world to see.
So, wait, was this your first voice acting job or do you have another one?
Yeah, this was my first actual professional gig.
And were you super excited about it? Were you nervous? Were you surprised?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of all of those going around. It was
Mhm.
a big emotional cocktail kind of happening at the start.
Was there like an obstacle in your career that you had to overcome to either be an actor or voice actor or anything like that? Was there something that made you want to quit?
I would say early on, like in high school, when I was auditioning for all the different high school musicals and productions,
Mhm.
I had a bit of a problem putting myself out there at first. I would love the idea of doing it, and then audition time would come, and I would be struck with nervousness. So overcoming that was, I think, the biggest obstacle so far. And then in the professional sphere, I think the biggest obstacle right at the start was just kind of finding the right avenue to put myself out there and look
Right.
for opportunities.
So, like, do you still get nervous at all when you're auditioning, or have you mostly like conquered that?
I've mostly conquered it, but I feel like at least some level of nervous is normal for an audition kind of experience.
Was there something that like you were rejected for that you really wanted, or like something that kind of dampened your spirits like that? Because I feel like everyone has something like that too.
Yeah, it sounds kind of silly when I say it, but it back in high school, the first role that I really got rejected for was the musical production of Catch Me If You Can. I really wanted
hmm
to be Hanratty, which is this really suave kind of detective type. He has a really bluesy song, and I was practicing it for months before the audition, and I thought I nailed it, but I did not get the part.
Oh man. But also, that teaches you a lot of things too. Because, like, that wasn't a wasted experience because, you learned how to be a better actor through that practicing and stuff.
Definitely. The great Master Yoda says failure is the greatest teacher.
Was there someone that inspired you to start getting into this or into video games in particular?
Into video games, I would say probably Yuri Lowenthal was a big
Oh, yeah.
inspiration. I hadn't really seen a lot of his work beforehand, but when he played Peter Parker and Spider-Man in the Spider-Man PS4 game, I was a
Right.
huge fan of that. And I thought he brought such a range to that role. And I played the game so much that I was able to kind of study what he was doing with his voice and kind of
hmm
pick up on some of the nuances of his performance.
He did an awesome job in that game. Like, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the PS4 Spider Man or the PS5 Spider Man, the face models?
Ooh, that's a tough question. There's a right and a wrong answer depending on which part of the fandom I want to keep happy.
That's true. I have my answer too, but I guess I shouldn't say it. Maybe that wouldn't be very fair.
I'll always be very attached to the original PS4 model, but
hmm
it did have some flaws looking back on it compared to like the next gen graphics capability. I like what they did with the new one, and I'm interested to see how they might improve on it or improve on how it's emoting in the next big Spider-Man game that gets produced.
Did you play Miles Morales?
I did, and I loved it.
It was very good, yeah. I like that one too. I think I still like the first one better a little bit, but it was very good.
My only gripe with Miles, though, is I think it was just a little bit too short story-wise.
I agree with you there, but it had a great final boss fight, and as you
Insomniac
know, I like
really
sad
knows how to
endings.
get you with the emotional gut punches.
So, is that your favorite video game, or do you have another favorite video game?
Overall, I think that might be my favorite video game, yeah.
Okay.
And then there's others that I'll always be kind of attached to nostalgia-wise because they were ones that I played a lot growing up. I loved the Little Big Planet series when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah. Do you have like a favorite movie or a favorite book?
Ooh, that's a tough one because I read so much and I watch so many films that it's really hard to narrow down. I'm very attached to the Harry Potter series. I've loved it since I was a very small child. Even with the whole J.K. Rowling controversy and with her views coming out, it was hard for me for a while because that was a person that I had looked up to for so long and had always wanted to meet her. And then she started espousing all of this kind of stuff that was very harmful to lots of different groups of people. And I kind of had to grapple with that and then came to the separation of the art from the artist to feel good about staying on the enjoying Harry Potter kind of train.
And I think that everybody should do that in some way because you're not going to like every artist because there are also people who might be idiots or might be mean, you know. That doesn't mean they're not talented, unfortunately. It's valuable to be able to separate that. How about now we move on to Where the Stars Brought Us, since that is why you're here, after all. How did you find out about it?
I found out about it through a job listing on Upwork. I had gotten on there to kind of see what opportunities were around, and I saw this listing that really intrigued me. Voice actor for a video game visual novel protagonist. And I was like, ooh, instantly sparked my curiosity. It's a world that I've always kind of wanted to be a part of. So it's very exciting for me. And some part of me still can't believe that I got the role, that I'm here. So I've just tried to do the best I can and do the story justice and do the character justice because I know that, especially for the person who wrote it, it's probably very important to see that all come to fruition in the right way.
Of course. I mean, that's why I picked you because I heard your voice and I was like, oh my God, this is totally Rio. This is totally how I envisioned him. Fit it perfectly.
Thank you so much.
How did it feel to be a main character? Is that something that's a unique feeling?
Yeah, it is a unique feeling. I'm of the mindset that no part is a small part, really, but being the protagonist does carry some kind of weight to it. In a way, it's something that I've been kind of training for in my acting aspirations all my life, but I love being a part of a community of a whole cast of characters and the family atmosphere that comes out of the whole cast assembling.
Would you say that Rio is your favorite character, or do you have a different favorite character?
I definitely relate the most to Rio. In terms of a favorite character, I don't know if I could pick just one. I might choose in tandem both Rio and May because I love how those two characters interact and how their personalities mix and evolve by the end of the story.
So you said that you kind of relate to Rio. Like, is there a moment that resonates with you, or does he resonate with you, or his journey?
His journey was very resonant with me. I like the way that he started out as very positive and very naive in his outlook on the world and how that evolved through his experiences with meeting May.
I guess it's sort of a coming of age story if you think about it. Was there a scene that was really hard to act? Because I know that you were in like the whole game. Since this takes place from your perspective, I've had trouble asking like all the other cast members, you know, because they're not there throughout the entire game, and some of them didn't read the entire script. So, but you can say more than anybody, like, was there a scene that was most difficult for you?
I would have to say the scene in the Night Flyer's lair when Rio reunites with Nam and May both, and then has to leave May behind. I had to kind of go into a very dark place that day and pull from a lot of really raw emotions. It's one of the few times that I've actually pushed myself to kind of actually shed tears while
Right.
in the acting headspace. And it was a new feeling for me. I don't do that very often, but I love those opportunities that I get to push myself in that
Yeah.
way.
And like I've heard actors say that before a lot, that they've had to go to a dark place to do this, and I can't really imagine what that feels like. I mean, can you explain like that process? Like, how do you get yourself to do that mentally?
There's certain music that I always go to because
Mm-hmm.
music is very powerful to me. I have certain songs that will make me cry. Movie soundtracks do this a lot. Soundtracks from scenes that also made me cry will bring me back into that space. And then just kind of remembering how it felt to be in a tough time of my own life. Remembering something that someone said to me that was really powerful, or an experience that kind of tore at me. And it does get dark, and sometimes I need a very deep cleanse afterward.
Well, it makes me feel guilty now that you say that. I feel bad that I put you through that.
No, it's fine. I love to act, and I love everything that comes part and parcel with that whole experience. So paradoxically, even though it is very hard to experience emotionally, I feel like I'm better for it.
Well, that's really admirable, and I think that that's a hallmark of someone who's a really great actor. Would you say that that became your favorite scene because of how much effort you put into it, or is there like another scene that's your favorite?
I think that scene probably is overall my favorite just because
Mm-hmm.
of the impact that it left on me. I can't really pinpoint just one specific other scene, but I love being able to bounce off of the other actors and feed off their energy and just do scenes with people.
And like someone else said that it was really a unique experience that sometimes you guys could all read your lines like together and almost in the same room, and it was kind of mimicking that experience. Also, another moment that the other cast members have picked as their favorite was in the hospital when Nam is leaving Rio and she's kind of breaking the news to him that, she's leaving for good with her boyfriend. I think it's pretty much everybody else that I've interviewed has picked that moment, and so I want to know what that part was like for you.
That part kind of shocked me when I first read the script.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of foresaw something like it happening, but I didn't know it would be to that extent. Again, it's another high emotions moment. I don't have a sister, but I do have 3 older brothers, so I kind of know what that familial relationship feels like. I can imagine what it would be like to have to let one of them go. So it was interesting too, because there's different ways that that scene can go depending on which choice the players pick. And we did it in pretty much just one take straight through. So I had to switch from kind of, I love you still, and I'm coming to terms with you, the fact that you're leaving, right into, I never want to see you again.
To like display this range of emotions right in that moment. Well, was there a scene that, because now you're making me sad because you're picking all of the sad scenes. Was there like a joke that was your favorite and that made you laugh the most?
It wasn't a joke that was really played
Mm-hmm.
as a joke per
Mm-hmm.
se, but it's, I think, the funniest line from the script, especially if you take it out of context completely, which is in the flashback bathroom scene when Nam enters the bathroom and Rio is just like, do you really have a penis? We had to run that scene a couple of times afterward because none of us could hold back the laughs.
Yeah, Marielle actually mentioned that one too. How she couldn't stop laughing the whole. I would like to hear that.
All of the family moments in general were just really made my heart happy.
Yeah, I think Rio really cares about his family a lot, and that's why with the bad ending, which I like to call the bad ending, when he leaves with May, that's just kind of out of his character. That's not really what he would do in the right mind, As much as he loves May, he wouldn't leave his family for somebody else like that. So I agree with you that those are also my favorite endings. It hurt me to have to write a bad ending, but I did it.
Yeah, I liked the way that that played out too, with the newscast and the lines from the different family members just kind of pleading
Yeah,
for him to come back. It really tugs
right.
at you.
I know, and it's so depressing. Like, oh my god, what have I done to Rio? I think I picked the wrong decision.
I
Is
think I
there?
think he even says at one point, like when May asks if he wants to stay and if you pick that ending, he says it's not what I want, it's what I need. And in that moment, you know, wait, I should have sent him back to his nice little family.
What do you think about Rio's entire journey, like, and where he ended up, and do you think that that fit his character, or was there something that maybe you would have done differently with his character if
That's a very interesting question. I really like how it played out. I think that the two different decisions are a very good indicator of the motivations at Rio's core. He's very people oriented, so the people in his life really drive him in a way. So having to choose between these two very important groups of people in his life is a decision that gets at the heart of the character. I don't think I would have done anything differently. I think it was done to Rio's potential.
was his, like, his arc your favorite, or was there another character arc that you really liked a lot and connected with?
Having gone through some issues of self-confidence in my days of learning to be an actor and learning my way
Mm-hmm.
around that whole scene, I also related to a bit of May's arc where she had to overcome these self-doubts and fears of whether she was good enough or not. I thought that also really hit home.
Yeah, and also May having someone who's always looking down on her and always telling her she can't do something, you know? I think a lot of people have that experience, especially when you're younger.
If you're lucky, you also have someone like Rio by your side who is the person that can lift you up and not necessarily completely drive the changes in you, because that has to be a self-spurred thing, but someone who can kind of nudge you in the right direction and be like, I see your full potential. You got this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, do you think that Rio and May's relationship, do you think that they complemented each other? Because I've gotten some questions as to, why don't they have like a romantic relationship? Because, there's a point where you're kind of starting to think like, oh, maybe they'll get together or whatever. And you know that Rio has a crush on her and that he likes her. And so, like, why isn't there ever a romantic relationship? If you could have it that way, would you? Like, would you have them have a romantic relationship?
I feel like that's probably where the quote unquote bad ending would have gone if we
Mm-hmm.
had seen it play out further. But in terms of the story that is being told inside the game, I
Mm-hmm.
like how it went. I like that they didn't go into any sort of cliche romantic territory. It's more of a friends, like best friends kind of banter. So that was a really interesting dynamic.
I know I've asked this in different forms, but if there was any one plot point you could change at any point in the story, what would it be? Not even relating to Rio, just anything else.
I'm torn about this because it serves a purpose in the story that's really important, but also there's a big part of me that wants to see the good ending version of this play out, which is I wish I could have seen Baba Takeshi reunite with his wife and daughter, and
Mm,
they could have sort of mended things.
that's fair.
I'm just holding out hope that that's happening in kind of an alternate reality that we don't see, just to keep my
Yeah.
just to keep my mind happy about it.
Did you like him a lot as a character?
Yeah, the dynamic that develops between him and Rio was also a very interesting one. Like
Hmm.
you don't think that they'll develop this kind of partnership at first when they're when Takeshi is like grilling him and trying to figure out what happened to Nam, and they're just at loggerheads basically the whole time.
Hmm.
And then their relationship kind of takes a turn and you're like, ooh, this is
Yeah. I keep hearing people, praise you so much for how talented you are, and it's
oh,
true. And I'm really happy you were able to be Rio.
thank you so much. That really means a
Yeah.
lot to me.
Well, is there any way that you'd like to thank?
I could be cliche and go for thanking everybody who has helped bring me along on this journey. I want to say thank you to my mom. I want to say thank you to my dad. But yes, there's a lot of people in my life that deserve a lot of praise for helping me improve my craft and helping me be motivated to keep doing this. And so I don't just wake up every day and want to roll right back into bed. And every cast that I've ever worked with on various plays, and especially this cast, has meant a lot to me because I think we all work so well together. And this story creates a really interesting blend of people to come together and interact. I feel like we've all created this really lovely atmosphere.
I'm glad that we were able to provide you with that experience, and I'm glad that we were able to talk today.
Yeah, me too.
Nice to finally officially meet you. I mean, I know I've met you, but actually talk to you.
Yeah, this was a really nice opportunity. And thank you so much for choosing me. It really means a lot that you saw this character in me, and I'm very, very happy that I could. It's very important to me that I give my all to whatever project I'm a part of. If I can say that I've done that, I think that means I've succeeded. And I think we all have. Sure. Everyone involved on this project has just done such a great job.
Well, again, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.